After some fairly uneventful travel further north, including another stop on the way at one of the other small towns, you arrive in Rosberg. For two of you, this is a return visit. For one of you, perhaps not. As you arrive there, you see Otto's boat moored just at the side of the docks.
Ah, yeah.
Huh.
It seems as though your stops on the coast, he's gotten ahead of you. Potentially while you were going inland. Well, you arrive in Rosberg then. What do you wish to do?
Could you restart the music?
Of course.
See.
That good?
No.
Okay, refresh page and we'll go from there then.
Yeah, I guess.
What do you wish to do? Refresh the page.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Refresh the page.
Your character's...
I see. I see what the issue is.
Did you have the browser muted?
No, I didn't realize I couldn't have two games up at the same time.
Oh yeah. I've tried that when I was putting stuff into different games earlier. Basically, the one you open second becomes the main game, and the first one just bugs out.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So could you restart the music now? Because I
Yes,
think I
of
should be
course.
here now.
Don't worry, the recording's still
Yes,
going.
perfect.
There we go. Okay, so
There we go.
now that we've truly arrived, what do we wish to do?
So how much out of the way from where I would have been coming? I came out of the mountain pass.
Mhm.
Would it be very natural to stop by at the city, or would I have just passed further along?
The road does lead
inland?
into the city, and then out to the west, before
Mhm.
then heading south. However, if you chose to skip the town, you might have done so.
Yeah, she would have.
Okay. So you have missed. So this is your first visit here, then.
Yeah.
Well, Ilya obviously was here before,
Mm-hmm.
but there wouldn't really be anything that she would want to check out, considering that she already dealt with most of what she needed to do.
That's fair.
So she probably would just want to continue traveling to where they need to be.
Okay.
Check in with Otto, I guess.
Yeah.
Because...
Yep, he should be around. Radir, from your meetings with him in the past of up in the coast, you know he's probably at the guild building or something like that, checking to see what jobs have been
Alright.
left there in his absence.
Alright.
Do you-
Like, what is sort of a general impression I would get of the town?
It seems to be quite not on hard times, but certainly it seems that it's had better days. Given it was the main stop between military outpost here and the ends over here until the seas calmed here. So it's not got as much traffic recently. But otherwise it's still going. People haven't really moved out or anything.
Yeah, okay.
It still gets decent amount of traffic from the continent as well, since the mountain pass is an important trade route. Yeah, go ahead, Radir.
Well, I suppose we should. More, we're gonna have to head inland.
Yeah.
So personally, I'm thinking I'm gonna see if I can cash in some of our earnings through the journey so far to get some upgrades.
Ah.
Go ahead.
Alright then. I'm gonna head down into the shipwright, just down the over a bit. And I'm gonna disembark.
Alright. So you then head down to the ship, the Carpenters Guild, or just to the ship right on the docks? Or...
Whatever the ship building is.
Okay.
The
Yeah, it's,
ship-
the alleged shipbuilding is not that far away. So you make it there, no issues.
I
then.
just imagine a ship, like a building that is ship-shaped.
This isn't Estella, I'm afraid.
Sad.
Yeah. Maybe some Ross in the world. Whichever one of us gets there first. But yeah, so you arrive there and it says you remember. There's a man behind the counter who sort of glances up as you approach, but doesn't speak further. But doesn't speak.
I like lean on the counter, as awkward as it is because of the height,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of go. So, I got a ship and she might need some improvements, if you know what I mean.
The man keeps reading what he's reading for about 10-15 seconds or so before putting it down. Well, I might know what you mean. What are you in the market for?
Well, primary concerns are speed and cargo. Don't need to worry about cabins. Not really plan to increase my crew. Not for now, at least.
He nods. Alright. So what? So thinks for a moment. How many masts you got so far?
Currently only the 2. No, she should be big enough where, with some tinkering, you should be able to fit up to 5 of them in the end.
Yeah, I can see perhaps adding one of those and making her a bit longer to fit more cargo could work. I'm sure you know such work isn't cheap nor fast, but
Well, I have the time, but how much you charge?
See, I'd have to have a look at the ship and take a few hours to have an estimate for you.
Well, that should be fine.
Alright. He hits a bell just behind the counter. And a few moments later someone slips out from another room and he nods to them and they come to the desk and he goes out to follow you.
I kind of lead him over.
She seems familiar, I'll say that.
It's made to the best of the attempts of the old blueprints, but the old template. Though I can't say I had as much resources to my name when requesting her to fully fulfill them, so while the whole is probably at the same level as she used to be, well, the above deck levels are a bit sparse.
Alright. Give me some time and I'll sort through it and figure it out for you. He just walks onto the ship and just starts sort of walking the deck and then heads below after a moment. It'll probably be a few hours before he's able to actually have any proper estimate for you, so...
Yep.
If you wish to spend... It's probably about midday when you arrived, so if you wish to spend the rest of the day just sorting some stuff out and...
I'll be staying here to explain any Any knickknacks in the stuff to the carpenter? No, if you feel like it, you can head into town, and I'll nod my head towards the other.
See if there are any interesting places I should check out if I'm now that I'm here.
Well, I do remember there being a magic item shop somewhere in around.
Oh. Well, I suppose it might not hurt to see.
I don't quite remember where it is, though. So you're gonna have to look around.
Fair enough. And she will go look for that.
Okay. So roll d20 for, I guess, investigation.
Do you want me to roll investigation or should I just roll a d20?
Investigation. And Ilya,
It's the same, but
do you remember? Would you think you'd remember where Nick's shop is? Assuming you'd overheard this
Probably.
conversation.
She probably would know, yeah.
Okay. Then, 15, I'd say you find it off with Ilya sort of mentioning it offhand, perhaps. You find your way there within a few minutes. It's not too much trouble. As Ilya remembers it, it's a shop called Nick's Nook of Knowledge, and there's a spell book outside that's sort of opening and closing every few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you head inside?
Yeah.
As you enter, there's a sort of ringing sound as you open the door, and you hear a sort of, "I'll be there in a moment," from the back. Familiar sight to Ilya then, but the shelves seem old, though perhaps recently mended, and piled high with all sorts of old books and scrolls and parchments.
Can I roll to see if she finds anything in particular in there?
Sure, go ahead.
What would that be?
I'd say perception if you're glancing, or investigation if you're taking time to actually properly look. Your choice.
Ooh. Oh, that's it. That's such a good question. If how careful she would be. I feel like I actually feel like investigation is what's more fitting because she is actively there looking to see if there is anything interesting.
Okay, you can go for that then.
And like if she doesn't find anything, she wouldn't have much patience with the place.
Fair enough. You spend a few minutes looking through the stacks of parchment and stuff. There's a lot of things pertaining to wizard magic. There's a spell book for wizards just starting out that seems to have a lot of beginner spells, some of which you've heard of before, some of which you haven't, most of which you can't cast. Instructions on how to learn them and whatnot. There's
Time for learning.
Yeah, there's some more advanced books, which seem to have some impressive spells that you've most certainly heard of. And you figure that you just keep them in your head for later, perhaps. Otherwise, most of the rest of what seems to be here seems to just be sort of history or just generally non-magic books as well. Mostly on the shelves closest to the door. After a few minutes of browsing the shelves, a man emerged from the back, sort of, "Oh, hello," and then seeing Ilya, "Oh, welcome back."
Ah, thank you. How have you been?
All right. Also came by a day or so ago. Say he was back in the area. Should be down at the
Okay.
guild, I think.
I will head there later then.
Alright. Well, seeing as I know the type I'm supposed to be looking at, and he turns towards, I just say, what can I do for you?
Well, I'm I was just looking for if there was anything interesting in here for a person like me.
Person like you say, well... No, I'm afraid it's not much for me to go on, I'm afraid. Are you just looking for trinkets or things with coin applications, or just anything really?
Oh, well, yeah, I suppose anything with well, kind of a bit potent magic, or well, also really just anything that might look good. And she makes her hair flutter.
Of course. I keep forgetting about that. Let's see, well... Let's see then. Sort of looks around the shelves. There's not much on the shelves per se, but there's some things here and there. Sort of overturns a bucket that's upside down on the floor. That seems supposed to be used as a footstool for halflings, gnomes, and dwarves to reach the shelves. And underneath it, there's a pile of keys. It sort of holds one of them up. This is a mystery key. He basically explains it. Basically, it's a common magical item. It has a 5% chance of unlocking any lock in which it's inserted, and once it unlocks a lock, it disappears. More of a parlor trick than anything else, given the low chance I have of working, but, well, I'm sure that if you're lucky, might be useful.
Well, yes, it might come in handy, and in her mind she's thinking of that big place with all the stolen treasures.
Of course.
How much would you take for that?
Like to set a price point high enough that common thieves are dissuaded from trying them on the same locket over and over again, so... 50 gold.
Sure, why not?
How many you want?
Oh, I take one.
Alright. Let's see if
I've
it's in
marked
the
off the
compendium.
gold.
It's not in the compendium, that's fine. Alright, so you were... What gold you at the moment? 311.
No, I had 361, so
Okay.
I already...
Okay, let me just put mystery key in there for you, and I'll add the description later.
Yep, totally fair.
And just 0.1. You have a mystery key then? As for other things, he goes behind the counter. Some more interesting things in here somewhere. Let's see. He starts digging through the space on the counter. Hold on a moment, and just completely vanishes from view.
While that is going on, Ilya will also look around trying to see if there's something for cleric spells, I guess.
You roll investigation for me while that's going on. No.
Oh my god.
Holy fuck.
Just no.
I can't have good things in life. I will take the excuse that Ilya is too excited to see Otto again, I guess.
Okay.
So she can't focus.
Okay, that's fair. After some time, he emerges with a what seems like some sort of cloak or shawl. This is a glamour weave, an uncommon one. He runs his hands through it, and a pattern of sort of smoke seems to dance on its surface, and as you watch, rises from it.
Certainly fancy.
Yes. As I'm sure you've seen when looking at it before, as an uncommon glamour weave, when you make a performance or persuasion check, you can roll a d4 and add that number to the check. It's not an attuned item either, but it's only once per day.
And what pattern did you say this one had? I don't remember if it was changeable. Or not.
You can use ability to create a moving illusory pattern in the cloth. So the one he created was smoke, but you can create anything you want.
Yeah, actually, she will ask that question in character if the thing, the fancy thing he did it, that's possible with other effects.
Oh yeah, you can do any pattern you can think of, really, although it has to be quite simple. Most people prefer flames or butterflies, especially given the Fae touches around here.
Well, you've certainly got me intrigued by that one.
I'm glad to hear it.
How much would you say?
A fair bit more expensive, I'm afraid. These ones are a bit harder to come by. Probably 220?
Sure.
Huh, okay.
I'll take it. Marked off.
Alright. You have a glamour weave as well, then. Mark that for you. And I'll put a plus d4 in the name so you can see that for later, and then you can check the description to see what it does. So I'll just leave it as that. He notices your coin pouch probably getting quite much lighter by this point and sort of thinks, well, pleasure doing business with you.
Oh. Well, I quite like these, and she does indeed make a very fiery pattern on the glamour weave.
Ah, of course. Old favourite of most people. Do enjoy.
I certainly will. And she grins, and you can see her bit sharp teeth.
You seems a little off-put, as perhaps is the intention, but right. Well, I'm sure we'll have plenty of items if you ever come round again. We've got a lot of storage down here, and not that many people come by with enough money to pay for it. So.
Oh. Well, I might be back then.
Looking forward to it. Well, he turns to Ilya. If you see Otto, let him know that I'll be heading out at some point soon, so the workshop won't be available for a couple of weeks.
Will do.
Of course, my brother will be minding the shop in my stead, and he'll have someone else minding the bar for him, but the workshop will be closed.
Alrighty. We'll let him know.
Okay. Well, take care then.
You too.
He nods and heads back into the back.
As they walk out, Alisa kind of stretches and says, "Ah, well, that was successful."
Huh. Yeah. You're definitely, she just looks at her in a very worried manner. You certainly got rid of some coin.
Oh yes, well, you know, I might die tomorrow, so why not spend the money now?
You know what? You make a good point.
Do you make your way to the The guild building then?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, really, you're staying with the ship, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Wymark sort of, at this point is sort of discussing things with the man a bit, quite sort of pointing out some specifics of the ship that he's noticed after having started learning the craft and whatnot since he's been on the ship for a while.
Yep.
Specific points that might need repairing or good places, that sort of thing. So you make your way to the guild building then, and as you approach, you see Otto exiting.
You will probably hear him talking to someone who is walking like beside him, probably from the guild building, and he will be saying as follows. You should have seen, I was utterly strewed. There was bloody shark bait all over the coast. Almost ended up with my tinny bra broken, but, well, cover me, surprise. You know, my hijacker was for the better, and my client actually treated me to dinner. You have tasted the snag they offered. Oh.
The moment when Otto just sort of shakes his head. Well, I'm glad you got something good out of it at least. And sees the other two walking towards you and sort of, I believe you've got company. I'll see you around. And hastily makes his way away.
How do you say grins and waves?
Ilya will just smile at him and walk towards him, essentially.
He will see the two of them, and then hello. So you're out safely as well, did you?
As safe as you can get here, I guess.
That's good, eh? And he will walk up to Elia and stand face to face with her.
I feel intimidated.
So, how's the magic items holding up?
Pretty good. They've come in handy.
Oh, now that's good to know. Hopefully, they've not broken down or...
Well, she just pulls it or them out and just shows it. They seem to be fine.
He kind of looks at them and yeah, she'll be apples.
What?
Well, that makes me right. Well, how about we head for a little late brekkie and maybe discuss where to head next.
It's about 2 in the afternoon at this point.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure that Otto was aware of that.
I mean, that's why he said late.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, why not?
Daddy, I defo know a place.
You talking like that makes me cringe.
How well versed is Otto in culinary establishments?
There's that seafood place you went to last time near the docks.
Do they have like non-full course dinners?
Probably if you convince them to. To be fair, that you are enough on the coast that you could probably convince them to give you a smaller meal.
Okay. Sure, I take them over there.
Alright, you head back to the docks then. Radia would sort of see them all walking past at some point, probably.
Alright.
You, Are you gonna each pay for your individual meals, or is Otto gonna pay for them?
I don't know how much Otto has.
Otto has 206 currently.
Yeah, he'll pay.
Actually, to be fair though, given he's just done a bunch of those, I give him 306.
He'll pay.
Okay. Well, it's
He'll
2 gold. I'd say
enter-
2 gold for all 3 of you. So just I'll put it down to 304.
Yeah. He'll kind of walk in and go. Hi, mate.
Oh,
You happen to have a billy going? Me, my Sheila, and my friends could use a little late brekkie.
Alright, we'll get you something. Sit down.
Thanks, Bruce.
I would like,
Bruce.
I just have to make an insight check, please.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I just say. The... I don't know. How do I want to rule this? I know what I wanted to go for, but I'm not sure if what would have fit what a failure would constitute. You do not seem to notice that this seems completely normal behavior of Otto, and everyone seems used to it.
I don't notice that, so I think it's... Well...
You think it's
So-
perhaps
so-
a little encroaching, maybe? Whatever you think
Yeah.
it says. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ilya knows it's normal by this point.
I mean, she definitely raises her eyebrows, but she shrugs and like, well, if he wants to do it that way,
Fair enough.
Don't worry, they're not flat
doesn't
out
judge.
right now. If they were, they would be devil. Tell you that. But right now, I mean, there's no cupboard there, Bruce. So, well, unless he's not cactus, I suppose he'll cook us up something that will probably make us chock a block at the end of it.
I genuinely cannot stress enough how much I do not want to put you in a room with an Australian. I do not think you would. I do not think you would walk out of there.
I don't think so either.
Oh, I'm so glad Otto's going to be retiring for several months after this session.
No!
Oh dear. Well, you go through your meal then. Do you wish to discuss anything over it?
So, well, we were going to discuss the next step, I believe.
Yes, heading west from here towards around this point.
Yeah.
also a question: what kind of food do they have at this place?
It's all seafood basically.
Yeesh.
Local catch.
Do they happen to have like any sort of bread or anything like that?
Yeah, they've got the usual like bread and salads and stuff as well. If you prefer to just have that.
Do they have garlic bread?
Tell you, does garlic exist in this world?
Garlic would exist, yes.
In this area?
Probably in a form of like, as in cultivated. Probably not naturally, but cultivated.
Yes, then yes, they have garlic bread here.
I just say yes, eats that.
Okay. How garlicky does I just say like her garlic bread?
Yep.
I asked how, and the answer is yes.
The answer is yes.
Okay. Do you want to? I'm asking this as only. Do you want to roll for 1d4 burn damage from the acidity? It's your choice, depending on how garlicky Ajisa likes her bread.
I feel like I just say wouldn't really
Sugar
have
garlic.
to do that because she is very used to fiery tastes.
That's fair.
Pure garlic. Let's go.
Okay. Well, you You get your way through the most garlic bread that anyone outside of you has ever seen them, and
Yes.
some of the
Elia's
staff.
gonna sit there with like her fish sandwich or whatever and just look at her like, what the fuck?
Yes, the staff are. Make a perception check, all three of you actually.
Wait, all three of us?
Yes, all three of you. You're all sitting at the table.
Alright.
Looking for your various collection of... Yeah, there you go. Yeah, as I was about to say law of averages moment. So yeah, Otto is too busy eating his food. Aegis and Ilya, you both notice that the staff seem to be sort of whispering with shocked and perhaps concerned expressions on their faces. Sort of like off in the corner of the room, and sort of there's like perpetually at least one. There's a rotation of people who are still standing in the doorway to the kitchen, just sort of staring at whatever, just waiting to see if Aegis just sort of falls over, perhaps. They seem rather shocked by this sight, should we say?
When she notices them, Adisai sort of winks and makes the glamour weave shimmer in the fire again.
The one looking at you sort of startles and then just sort of runs back into the kitchen. Oh dear. So you discuss your plans to head west then?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Do you want to discuss them, or should we just skip ahead to saying that they've been discussed? It's
Well, we know where we're going, I think.
true. Yeah.
So,
I guess it's just what Otto wants to do about it, if anything.
yeah.
Yeah. I think he's already playing like all he knows.
Yeah, but would he offer to take them there in his carriage or something? I guess is what I'm wondering.
He'll give the offer at least.
Okay.
Ilya obviously is not against that.
Yeah, Nadisa doesn't know what she would be getting herself into.
Fair enough.
Alright. I say we definitely came to a conclusion. Well, once we finish Brachia, I suppose we should take the last cup of the belly and then we can set out, I suppose.
Well, why not go sooner rather than later? The faster we can get to the fun stuff.
It's at this point you remember that Radir is also probably going to want to come with you. And probably Wymark as well.
Well, we'll probably then go and pick them up before we leave.
Hmm?
Okay, just wanted to make sure in case Otto had any complaints about more people or not.
No.
Okay. And yeah, once you're done and you've paid, which I took the money off already, you head out to the ship then. Otto will just probably head to his boat to just start turning it into a carriage, so you don't have to talk to yourself, Tay.
Yeah. Unlike you, though, I don't have any.
Yes. Get crit. Alright. So the two of you head back to the ship then. As you do, you sort of you overhear a conversation as you approach. Let's see then, with what Wymark's told me and what I've talked to some people, we're looking at about at least 300 gold for all of this, maybe more.
Rionri, is eh?
Yeah, at least. Sorry.
Well, how about give your first pick or next tea shipment I pass through here, and you cut down the price slightly.
Well, we have got tea from you in the past. It wouldn't be a bad deal. I know how fast these things can be, and he pats us out of the ship. Let's say, given how much she's worth... 200?
Sounds like you got yourself a deal there.
Alrighty then. Payment in advance, alright, or would you prefer to do half and half?
I don't see a reason to hold back. Here you go. And I throw him my sack.
Alright, so you pay him 200.
Yep.
And I will, So you're at 500 exactly right now, so down to 300 then.
Yep.
Okay. Alright, I'll, get working on this. Wymark here wants to, stay and help, so... I can, keep on with his apprenticeship that he's been working on, apparently, while while you stick around and wait, I guess.
Alright then.
It's at this point the two of you have arrived on deck of the ship as well.
Yahoo!
Ah, you're back.
Yes.
Found anything of interest?
Ilya will just look at Ajisai.
A few
And sigh.
things. And she grins.
You do notice the sort of, I guess, shawl, I guess, depending how you're wearing it.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. The sort of shawl of sort of shimmering, illusory flames.
What? Nice. Something, I suppose. Yep. I suppose we're gonna continue on foot, are we?
Actually, we have somebody that can get us to where we need to be.
Well, that will sort that out, I suppose. Alright then.
If there's anything you need to finish up before you leave, now's the time to do it. Including if you want to go to the apothecary or the general store.
No.
No.
I'm hoarding my gold.
Okay.
That doesn't seem super useful.
Yeah, but I also don't really have
Or-
anything that I need or want, really.
Like, I was more speaking from Adisa's perspective. She I mean,
Yeah.
that's boring.
I mean,
One
yeah,
stuff.
Ilya didn't say that, so... But it,
Well,
yeah.
Actually, how much of the hair conditioner she used on the travels?
I forget how long I said it would last per bottle, but you're probably like, probably
Yeah,
no
not
more than a
much.
quarter through it. No more than a quarter through like your stock.
Hmm.
Probably less.
No, probably more. I think it was like one bottle would only be like 2 uses for her.
Yeah, that was true. I
With
don't
how
remember how
much
many.
hair
I
she
don't remember
has,
how many
yeah.
bottles you had and how often
Yeah,
you did it.
So let's see. How long was the journey between here and the last city?
So it's been about a month since you were all the way down south. So it's been roughly a
Yeah.
week between settlements. So it's
Okay.
since like last session, 2 weeks.
Yeah. Okay, then I'll. Let's see. Yeah, I marked down 2 bottles. So yeah.
Okay. How many did you have overall again? I forget.
Well, I probably had used some before that, because I had 6 before this session, so I used 2, so I have 4 now.
Okay, 4. Okay, guys, about a third through then. Okay.
Yeah, and then I will. Well, I know I had more from the beginning because I must have used in between. I'm sure.
Okay.
Or if I. Well, I figured that out.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Well, in that case, then, if there's nothing else that either.
Oh no, she bought 6. She bought 6, so she would have used more then, because it was from the first city to the second city. Was that also like 2 weeks?
No, it was a week between each settlement.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So it's been 3. If you bought at the first of the 3 settlements, since we only
Yes.
had
Did
sessions
you
in
buy
2 of them,
in the second settlement?
you might have bought them like. I think you
Bought
bought
them in
them
the city where Radia was like.
being shifty.
Yeah.
To be fair, that was both of them, but it was the one with Shinbone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the first one, I think there was like the market, and then we had the old lady, and the second one, you went shopping,
Yes.
and then you went
Yes,
back.
and
Yeah,
the
so it was the second one.
second one.
So it's been 2 weeks since then, ignoring the journey inland, which took like a couple of
Oh.
days.
Yeah, this. True.
So it's only been 2 weeks. So if you want to just have one bottle
Okay.
marked off a week, then you'd only be down 2 bottles.
Yeah, I guess so.
That works then.
Hmm.
But yeah, if Radir and Otto don't want to go to the store for anything, then that would probably be fine.
I don't think either of them really needs to get anything.
Okay. In that case, then Otto's got his carriage ready. After a while, and the 3 of you would make your way to him and towards the northwest, I guess. If there's nothing else, then.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
All right. You leave probably around 4 in the afternoon. Heading northwest, you see Ilya and Otto would recognize the road to the northeast. Turn off the path. And you would also recognize this as well.
Mm-hmm.
The road does continue west for a little bit before veering south. However, given where you're going, you follow a much less traveled path northwest towards the coast. Seems to be obviously far less traveled, not patrolled in any sense. The inner path isn't really patrolled either, but it's at least a little safer just because of the sheer number of people who go down it. Rather than being wide enough for 2 sizable carriages to pass easily, like the main road. This one's only really wide enough for 1, and you'd have to sort of veer off it if you wanted to get past someone else coming the other way. It's probably around sunset, around sort of past 8, close to 9 perhaps. Perhaps an hour or so in to this smaller path that the 4 of you decided to set up camp for the night. Otto, you still got the tents left over from
Yep.
previous
Yep.
voyage going northwards, so you'd be able to set the tents for everybody else if they want them.
Yeah, well, I give the offer.
Who wants a tent?
How do you say?
I think Ilya accepted last time, but I don't remember.
She did, but considering the circumstances.
Okay. And Radir?
Redeem will obviously take one.
Okay. So at least 3 tents, maybe 4. Oh no, because he sleeps in his
He's sleeping in his
car, doesn't he?
boat, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fair.
The question is if he has space for one more person in there.
I figured that's where you're going with it.
Yes.
I mean, if 4 people can sit there comfortably, I'm pretty sure that 2 people can sleep there
Yeah.
comfortably. So yeah, fair
I would
enough.
say so too.
All right then. Who wants to take first watch?
I think Adisai would like the middle.
Okay. So you've got second then. First.
Ilya will just go for the first one.
Okay, and third.
Radir can take it.
Okay. Does Otto want to set up his little baubles?
Probably, yeah.
All right. So you do. So just roll straight perceptions then. So first watch then for first watch.
Where is perception? There it is.
Don't really notice anything. It's just sort of interesting seeing how the terrain seems to shift the further west you go. It's sort of it's a little sandier than it was than anywhere you've been so far on this part of the continent. But also a bit rockier with its proximity to the mountains. But otherwise, it doesn't seem too bad. You're passed with that incident. I just say. You always want to pass with that incident. You spend a lot of the time sort of just examining the glamour weave and figuring out the limitations of it, but you don't hear anything interesting or see anything when you look up from your work, so it's fine. And Radir? Nothing on your end either.
Alright.
Alright, night pass with that incident. I'm going to have one person make a perception check per day of travel for the next few, just to speed it up a bit. So, we have 4 days of travel to head up to here. So I'd like each of you to declare a day out of 1, 2, 3, or 4 and make a perception check for that day.
Okay.
You can discuss this. It doesn't need to just be like first come, first served. Not that it necessarily matters. Or maybe it does, who knows.
Ilya would probably like to go for the last day.
Okay, so you're on day 4 then?
Right.
Sure.
Fair.
So Otto, Radir, and Ajisai then?
Yeah, Adisai doesn't really mind.
Yeah, I
Whichever.
don't really have preference with either of
Okay,
these
so
two items.
Ajisai 2 and Otto, Radir 1 and 3 then, doesn't really matter which.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tay roll day 1 with either of the characters. Yep, you, who would you say is rolling this? Just to check.
Radir.
Okay, yeah, Radir sort of keeps an eye out for the first day, and, aside from, thinning of the trees, and, later in the day, sort of starting to see sort of clearer shots to the southwest, the desert area. You don't notice anything particular.
Alright.
I decided day 2.
Yes.
The trees start to sort of properly get left behind on the second day, and you have a fairly clear view all around. There's the mountains to the north and east by this point, and you can see the desert to the south and sort of distant heat shimmers. The sun here isn't too bad during the until midday, due to the mountains sort of blocking most of it. But once it gets past midday, it does start to get a little hotter. It takes a while for it to cool down after the sun is set, but it gets there eventually. Day 3 for Otto then.
Okay.
You don't see anything out of the ordinary, really. You're perhaps struggling a bit from the heat, given how you're used to being near the ocean, and there's not really any water nearby to sort of dissipate the heat, so to speak.
Hmm?
But towards the end of the day, you do start seeing something on the horizon, perhaps.
Okay.
And day 4 for Ilya.
Mhm.
Yeah, you don't really notice anything. It does seem to become a bit cooler towards the end of the day, but you're not really sure of any specific reason. Although Otto would know that it's just because they're getting closer to the sea. The last night here is sort of spent, and on the morning of the 5th full day, or the 6th since you've left, it's only a few hours to where Otto tracked the thing that he set before. How accurate is it to your senses?
Hmm?
How accurate that tracking device that you put on the merchant before? How accurate is it to Otto's senses, so to speak?
It would just be like, yeah, if I remember, like he has a rough idea.
Okay, so he knows that it's in this area then. I was
Probably,
just
yeah.
going to say, technically, the geography of this means that it should take 2 weeks to do this travel. However, for purposes, I'm just saying no. It'll make more sense. It's fine.
We went speed.
Maybe. Artistic representation. Maybe the map's old. I don't know. Maybe the fae are on your side a bit. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? So, as you sort of on this day now, sort of getting close to where Otto thinks things are, you do start looking around for any sign of anything out of the ordinary. Perception checks all around again, please.
Yes.
Heh! Heh heh!
Oh.
Okay.
And also
Okay.
to just remind, I can't be surprised while I'm conscious. So
Yep. That's fine. Who rolled the 3?
Redeer.
Yeah, Radir is even standing up isn't tall enough to see properly. Otto is too busy just sort of making sure that the carriage doesn't go into any sort of holes in the road or anything. Ajisai is probably mostly sort of looking around and being wary and whatnot. Ilya, on the other hand, so standing on sort of like the very edge of the carriage, as high as you can, barely sees in the distance a gleam of something. Perhaps light reflecting off of something shiny.
Ooh, shiny. Well, Ilya would obviously tell Otto that she just saw that. And give him the direction.
Do you?
What does he see?
You don't see anything at the moment.
Okay.
But Ilya saw it. So do you head in that direction?
Yeah.
Okay. It's probably around midday after a sort of a bit of traveling off the track again, that you find this small sort of settlement. It seems to just be sort of one house, or, well, calling it a house is a bit of a stretch. It's, as you saw from the distance, it seemed to be some sort of black stone tower. But as you drew closer, it seemed to shrink in size until by the time you got to the door, it was barely a story tall. What do you wish to do?
huh.
Ilya would probably look around to see if there's like something special about it, like if there is a trap door or if there is like
You just look on the outside.
currently outside to see if there is
Yeah.
anything.
Seems to be a windowless building entirely. It's just there's just the door in the front made of the same sort of black stone as the rest of the building. There's some behind the building, there's a sort of small garden patch with a watering can that seems just to be sort of doing its job by itself with the aid of magic, without any sort of help from anyone to actually deal with it. Do you approach the garden when you see this or not?
She would be interested in it, so yeah, she would go there.
As you step towards it, once you get close enough, the watering can stops and turns towards you. Pray do not proceed. It speaks.
Huh.
And
That's interesting.
what's going on? Radier kind of whispers to the rest of the group.
Seeing Ilya, so will Ilya just stop when that happened?
Yeah, she does stop for the time being.
Yeah. The
Trying to
watering
figure
can
out
sort of
what is
seeing
going
you sort of stop, sort of dips, almost like a nod, and then goes back to its work.
on. A speaking magic watering can. She just talks to herself at that point.
Do you go back to the group, or do you take a step further?
I mean, the watering can told me not to proceed, so for now she would pull back and go back to the group and
Okay.
explain what happened.
Huh. Well, isn't that interesting?
That's what I thought. But I don't want to risk going in there alone and, for example, we don't know what's in that garden.
Oh, yeah, absolutely not. It would be.
I don't want to be blown
I mean,
up.
it's just
Quite
like
rude.
rows of. There's just a few rows of stuff of just fruits and vegetables being grown, really.
Yeah. But the watering can told me to stop, so I did
Yeah,
because I
exactly.
know not to take a
Yes.
no.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, it would have been quite rude to press further, I would say.
Yes.
Well, I feel like we should probably introduce ourselves properly, and she steps towards the door.
Okay. There's no reaction. Do you? What do? Do you knock on the door, or just try and open it, or?
She knocks on the door.
As you knock, a voice speaks out. Pray present your purpose, pronouns, and then point your position on the parchment. And I want you all. I need to look this up because I forgot to do it earlier. God damn it. I need you all to make a charisma saving throw.
Oh no.
Ooh.
A hit.
Oof.
Charisma save.
Yes. You all failed. You must all speak the truth in this to these questions.
Well,
Speak your purpose and pronouns, then point your position on the parchment is basically what it said.
Well, I mean, seems unnecessary too. Well, of course, I understand the concern that people wouldn't speak the truth, but well, I wasn't going to lie. My purpose here is to have some fun finding out, while also trying to help find out where some shady people went, and I'm, how do you say, she, her, and which parchment?
As you see your pronouns, they a map of the world, it's identical to the world map, shimmers into place on the door. Do you
Ah.
point? Truthfully, if you choose to point, you have to point to here.
You can see
Well,
this character
she-
sheets.
she
I'm
would-
just pinging like
All right.
here.
She would
Alright.
obviously point there.
As you do,
I mean, she would first like, if he feels like, okay, that's a truthful place to point, then she would assume that it was meant where they are right now.
yes, that's correct.
So since she feels that she will point there.
Okay. As you point there, the others just see you vanish. The moment your finger touches the door, they don't see the parchment. What do the three of you do?
Well, that's quite something.
Well, we don't know. Well, maybe she's inside now, or well, I would like to know
And
if she
so,
is. Ilya would then step forward, since she also has to do the same.
Do you need to knock? Or rather, have you? Sorry, you would need to knock, rather, because like, when you step forward, nothing
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, she will then knock on the
Okay,
door.
quite the
as
questions
well.
repeated to you.
Well, the name is Ilya, she, her, and I am here to. What are we going to? Was it cargo that we were looking for?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we are looking for cargo.
As you finish answering the questions, the parchment also shimmers on the door for you.
Yep, and she will point there.
Okay. Rio and Otto then, if they choose to enter.
Otto will go first.
Okay. So you're not going to get the same questions.
Good eye, mate.
No
What's
response.
your name, Malay?
Okay.
I suppose I'm half-elf. Male. And I suppose I'm here to deliver these folks to a full-moon shady place.
You've given your purpose.
Hmm?
You've given your purpose, not the pronouns. I know you said male. That doesn't mean anything. In this instance, the door refuses to give you any indication of anything.
Him, Bruce.
Oh god, I'm gonna have to keep track of that now.
Yes.
Yeah, the door shimmer. You see a parchment of the world shimmer onto the door.
I point where I feel obligated to point.
Radir, you watch as him just vanishes in front of your eyes. And it's just Radir left now.
Radir will take a deep breath. Look around. See if there's anyone else nearby.
Just Otto's carriage.
No male. He him. Captain of the Aramban. Takes another deep breath and looks around once more. Radir Brightburn.
What did you say? What was the purpose again? Sorry.
Being the captain of the Aramban.
Okay. The door seems to hesitate and sort of decides that you've given it some information that you normally wouldn't, and the parchment shows up for you as well.
I point at the current location.
Okay. You vanish as well then, and a moment ago, I just saw you pop into existence inside a large room filled with doors. Glancing around the place, it's quite a high-ceilinged room. Turning around, you see on the door is the parchment with the area of the map that you point to circled on it. And looking down, you see a square on the floor. It's almost like a sort of like a welcome mat that reads landing zone. Please remove yourself.
She steps out of the way before.
As you do, Ilya just
Yes.
pops into existence right where you were standing.
Huh?
And I would quickly grab hold of her and pull her away.
Drag her away.
Otto appears in the space next.
Well, Ilya would then jog over there, grab him by the arm, and pull him away.
And Rudier shows up last.
Yep. I mean, he's small enough that he could probably land without issue, even
Yeah,
if it's
true.
crowded.
True, given the halfling stuff.
Still no.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I mean that generally sort of half-size race stuff. Sorry. As you, the four of you are looking around, you sort of hear, "Pray forgive me my presumptuousness. I have made a habit of asking people for their personal details. Keeps things much safer." You turn towards the source of the voice to see a scruffy-looking human male. He has shaggy black hair and sort of round glasses. Ah, I see. He looks between you four. That would be you, and... He sort of looks to Otto. Did you lie through a zone of truth by any chance?
No.
Imbrues it is then. He sort of scratches his head. Ah, of course. I seem to be the wizard who lives here, wherever here is. He sort of gestures around to this room. First time visitors? I don't believe I recognize any of you.
You
suppose
seem
we are.
to be the wizard who lives here?
Well, I haven't had any evidence to the contrary yet.
Oh. I like you.
Thank you. Well, I will say, the next time someone doesn't ask for your name, do not give it. You should know better, Fey One. And he looks at you, I just say.
Huh.
I do nothing with this information, but I like to prepare those who choose to ignore the warning. Or rather, do not see the implicit out, should we say.
Oh, yeah. The name was never asked for.
You catch on quick. Good. Now then, as I will not be given my own name, I'll not give you anything to refer to me by, moreover than what I've said already. I believe we should get to the purpose of your visit. You said you sought cargo or shifty individuals.
Well, it's somewhat both.
Interesting. How long ago did you pass through here, by any chance?
A couple of weeks ago.
Ah, I see. I've made it a regular habit to charge a small fee for ease of shipping for certain individuals. Although I try to as information. He sort of clicks his fingers sort of impatiently. I should know better than this. Information security. That's the word. I try not to ask where these people are coming from. I simply ask for a fee and send them on their way. He points to the door next to yours, which you see is circles just right next to this town here. I sent them off towards this direction.
Oh.
I believe that's. Ilya would look at Otto. Isn't that where you saw the? Oh,
Yeah. That will be the case, I think. Yeah.
Well, then that would be where we need to go.
It is. I scratch his head. Pray tell, you say shifty. What manner of business were these individuals involved in? It's not often that they get chasers.
Well, you know about the recent seeker? shall we call him, borrowing of people.
Hard not to. I do admit I keep out of the politics of these groups, but
Well,
needs must.
the two of us and another put an stop to one of these, shall we call them, workspaces. Well, apparently the Drongos keep shipping, or rather they were meant to ship stuff out, and we didn't really know where to. But I found this plane. I suppose no cadets and just, put a little tracking magic-y thingy in there. And when you look at that, she'll be apples, and it was last seen traveling westwards and disappearing from roughly this location a bit further west.
I did notice that magic thing. I didn't think to mention it. Interesting. Well, shame that I've helped them with their business, but I didn't ask questions. And they didn't volunteer the information themselves. Sensible of them. I have no reason to stop you from chasing after them, and morals decree that they don't even charge you a fee. Although, given the time of day and the material plane, I would suggest that you stay the night.
Well, I suppose we could.
If no one has any objections, then.
No.
Good. Well then, if you'll follow me, he leads you over to a different door. This one pointing towards this very, very small island in the archipelago.
Which archipelago? In the there.
Yeah,
Yep.
just pinging it.
Very tiny.
Yes.
Hmm.
So, that's a proper precaution, of course. Only I may activate these portals.
Well, actually, if you said it was, do you mean it wasn't safe to travel to the specific one where we want? I hope.
Not that. Simply. How should I put this? He sort of takes off his glasses and rubs his eyes. I cannot pretend to be morally neutral in a situation when I have found out that I have been aiding criminals, shall we say. Perhaps I wish to perform a service by making up for the help I've given them by helping you more in return. And I believe I may be able to aid you on your journey, should I have the time to do so before you leave.
Well, I suppose. Help usually doesn't come without a cost, though.
Ah, this one's on me. The cost has already been paid, and hopefully not in blood. Now, enough moralizing. Will you join me?
Like, if there's any sort of role to try to get some info.
You can inside if you want.
Yeah. I mean, she would be wary.
Yeah. He does seem genuinely guilty for finding out that he's been profiteering off of illicit activities.
Yeah.
Although he is trying to remain fairly aloof.
Well, Fair enough. I will trust you for the moment.
Not a wise choice, but given where you are right now, if you didn't trust me originally, you wouldn't be here. Now then, shall we? He places a hand on the door and mutters something that you can't hear, and pushes it open. After you, I need to keep it open.
I decide he steps inside first.
Alright, do the others follow?
Yeah. Alta will look at Ilya and kind of go, shall we?
I guess so.
Alright.
Alright. And he will walk in.
Yeah, Ilya will just follow.
Amber dear?
His ears kind of perked up for a second. Hopefully someone has to stay to keep open, right?
No, I'll be through after you, don't worry. I can't go through and keep it open at the same time. Worry not.
If I have way to ponder, if the way to keep the door open was to be an entire building or so away from it, and thus you wouldn't maybe have time to run through it afterwards, how would you tackle such a door?
Perhaps we should speak of this in private later.
I see.
Let's not keep your
And
friends
he will
waiting.
walk through.
Alright. You all end up in a remarkably different climate. Standing outside a similar looking building to the previous one. The wizard steps through and shuts the door behind him. Well, this is where I live on the material plane. It's a little too hot, but it's isolated enough for my tastes. And he swipes a hand in front of his face to dispel the illusion in front of him. And you see, instead of sort of almost a jungle-like environment, a rather large house, or perhaps even a mansion, just suddenly there in front of you. Worry not, the spelling is only temporary. You should be perfectly safe inside.
You're a peculiar one.
I do try. He leads the way inside, if you'll follow.
Yeah.
Okay. It's quite a large interior, but it doesn't seem to be any bigger or smaller on the inside than the exterior showed. Once you're all through, he mutters a few words, and while you can't see it, you assume the illusion's back in place. Right then. Food. He mutters to himself and makes his way in through one of the doors into what you can see to be a sort of kitchen. Let's see this, and there we go. And he pulls a lever set into the wall, and you feel a burst of magic and a few unseen servants, I'd say, appear, but they're unseen. Unseen servants sort of shimmer and onto the plane and begin to sort of bustle around the kitchen. That should be ready soon enough.
Ready will kind of go. And to be quite skilled. I haven't heard of any others who can control multiple unseen servants at the same time.
Well, perhaps there's a bit of trickery to it in this case. Although I do study what I can in terms of unique magics. I have heard of a sailor who commands multiple, Wouldn't surprise me if that was you.
Well, I will pull out my violin and start playing a somber note.
He sees the multiple servants shimmer around him. So, I see. Interesting. Although, ooh, that's. I'm not going to touch that one. Oof. Anyway, I should show you to your rooms. Radir, you can roll inside if you want to.
All right. Inside.
You briefly felt his magic sort of brush against your own and sort of attempt to sort of mingle with it. But it sensed something in, perhaps the guilt that drives your ship these days, and sort of just drew back and drew back sort of quite sharply. And he seemed to sort of disentangle himself from your essence pretty quickly when he noticed that.
All right.
Well, rooms then. Please follow me. And he heads off in a different direction, up a flight of stairs. Right. Every room's got its own facilities, should we say? Should be perfectly fine here. He sort of waves his hands up the up forwards and sort of like 2 doors on each side of him, in a large corridor full of doors just open. Just pick any you want.
Radir will just claim first.
All right. It's they're all quite well furnished. Quite simple though. Nothing particularly fancy. But definitely comfortable beddings and clean and properly prepared and whatnot.
Ilya will probably go for one of the last ones.
Okay. And also, I just pick the other 2 then.
Yeah.
Fair enough. You, after a few minutes of looking around your rooms and if you need any time to refresh yourselves as well, you would make your way back downstairs. Find him just sitting in a chair that he's conjured out of nowhere in the arrival area. Does anyone have anything they want to do before that happens?
I guess just look around the room more if there's anything particular she might notice.
You sense magic here and there. Nothing particularly Fey or Shadow aligned or any other alignment, but definitely the work of not the work of his own hands, keeping this place clean and tidy.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so you make your way back down then. There's so, well, if we're ready then. And he claps his hands. Let's just drops his hands to his sides. Ugh, I'm not keeping this up any longer. Let's go to the library. He seems remarkably less energetic suddenly and waves the door open with his hand and just walks on through.
All right.
I'd just say is curious, so follows quickly.
Right. There's a rather large table in the center of this room that's just filled with books. The ceiling seems impossibly high. There's shelves on each wall, and there's piles of books sort of scattered around the place, which seem to reach meters into the sky. The wizard sort of pulls out a chair, and the others pull out and sink. Please, take a seat.
Pretty will take a seat.
Well then. Well, we're waiting for the food then. As the last part of this impromptu gift, he looks around the room and sort of, I will answer one question from each of you on any topic that I believe I can answer. There's no need to think of your question right away, of course, but there is some knowledge that you might not find elsewhere. Take as long as you need to figure out a question. Bear in mind, you might always meet him again and guilt him into answering more free questions, so you don't have to worry too much about it being a one-time thing.
Otto will go. We would be more popular yourself. Those bloody shark baits all out over the beach if I wanted to distract them. Chocolate dip popcorn. Or salted popcorn.
I'm afraid that's up to the taste of the individual, although... I suppose with enough testing you'd be able to find a regional map detailing flavor palettes with regards to sort of Cheslov muttering to himself about testing these sorts of things. You come from the east coast of this area, right?
That would be the case.
Probably chocolate. There's enough salt over near the sea.
I say. Aren't you a good badger?
I try. One only lives so long before deciding to learn more with their time. As the silence continues for the other three of you, he waves his hand and a book from one of the smaller stacks sort of floats over to him. You'll forgive me if I continue reading while we wait. This is an interesting one. He pulls a bookmark about halfway through the book and keeps reading.
Adisa is about to ask what book it is, but then she stops herself. But she stops herself before she does.
He looks up at you and sort of... Good one. And then returns to reading.
I do think I might have one, but
You might get more later.
yes.
Given how many portals this guy has all over the world, it's very likely you'll encounter him again at some point.
Yeah.
Although
I
strangely, he
think
doesn't.
it's-
Strangely, perhaps also strangely, even though you might not have noticed yet, perhaps he doesn't have any in Avalon unless Tay decides to put some there.
They just randomly pop up,
Yeah.
just spawn in.
He just spawns in out of nowhere, just alliterates letters beginning with P and then leaves.
Yeah, Ilya is just gonna keep to herself. Like she isn't gonna ask anything. But what she will do is she will just grab, like, she will pull out her painter supplies and just start painting.
The moment you pull them out, he sort of waves his hand, and the table is immediately covered in a tablecloth. Doesn't say anything, just does that, and so you don't get paint on the wood.
That is smart because she's gonna go for a rather dark color drawing.
Fair enough.
She's gonna go and draw a bunch of ravens.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Can always ask later anyway.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hmm?
Oh. Let's see. Oh, let's see here. Yes. Oh, this is good.
I'm terrified.
I will do this.
Hey?
Okay, you're messaging who?
Oh, sorry. I did that. Sorry. Messaging him,
Okay.
and she will say, oh, let's just, I can think about this a second. Okay. Are you familiar with any kind of... Well, I suppose it doesn't have to be magic, but any means that would be able to counter a very, very powerful curse?
He makes no physical response to your message to note that he's gotten it. Save for a single sort
Can
of.
reply in a whisper that only me.
Yeah, he
I
can.
hear.
He can. He doesn't like feel like, as far as you can see, he doesn't respond beyond just like flicking his eyes towards you. A moment later, you feel a strange magic surround you, almost just sort of probing, just sort of trying to ascertain the nature of this curse, if it is indeed you who's affected with it. And after,
Yes.
do you let him do so?
Yes.
It's more than a minute before it withdraws and sort of. This is powerful fey magic. You would have to find the hag who originally cursed you and strike another deal with her to lift it, I'm afraid. Beyond that, maybe only a wish.
She just smirks because she doesn't want to reply in words which...
That's fair. He, if the other two of you don't have a question prepared yet,
No.
nothing from Adair either.
He's watching to see what Ilya does first off.
Okay. After another couple of minutes, he sort of puts the bookmark back in the book and, well, I think I've freed you really now. Feel free to keep thinking. I can bring it in here. There's nothing really eating in the library after all. And he leaves and returns a few minutes later with the unseen servants carrying plates behind him. There's a wide array of dishes. There's meat from a cut that you've not seen before. It has a rather unique aroma that none of you have ever really encountered before, since none of you have lived in lived in this area before. There's a bowl of what you can assume to be leaves of some sort of salad. There's fish or some sort of variety that you're potentially unfamiliar with. And there's a what seems to have a very strong smell, some sort of mushroom stew. Figured I'd give a few options.
Ilya is too focused on her painting to even realize that food is
Yep,
near.
that's fair. He's not gonna push you into it. He waves his hand again, and after a moment, sort of plates, cutlery, glasses of water and stuff are brought in and placed before all of you, although Ilya's are placed sort of in the middle of the table so you can reach forward and get them when you're done with your painting. Anyone want anything special to drink? I have some old stores.
Redeem will kind of go, if you don't mind, I'd come along and see what you have available, so to speak.
Well, by all means. What about the other three of you? Anything particular? Alcoholic, non-alcoholic, there's all sorts.
Well, what might you have of the non-alcoholic varieties?
All sorts of fruit juices and... honestly, not much more than that. More of an alcohol person myself, I'm afraid.
If there's any you think I might not have tasted before, I wouldn't mind that.
Of course. Let's see what I can do. He leads in the room. Do you follow him, Radir?
Yes.
And the others stay behind them. He leads you to through the kitchen, which is now empty, with sort of cleaned pots and pans stacked on the drying rack. And in the following room, there's down a flight of stairs into a wine cellar. He pulls up some globules of light and sort of sends around the room. Take your pick. There's some rather old vintages here, and I'm afraid that I don't quite have the palate for some of them.
Before that,
Of course.
can I pull him aside? Are you able to cast certain spells?
Is that your question? He looks amused.
Specifically, part of my question relies on you being able to cast certain spell.
Depends on the spells. But don't worry, no one will hear us down here.
Find person.
Depends who you wish to find. I should be able to, although perhaps not today.
Dave Robertson.
Not a name I'm familiar with. Let's check then. You want your question... For your question then, do you want me to find his location for you?
Yes. Or rather, if he even has a location anymore.
Well, let's see. Well, if you want to find someone, there's a couple of different options. Find person only has a range of 30 feet. 9th level, that's a mile. Locate creature has a range of 1,000 feet. No upcast. Not sure of any other options at the moment, which I'm looking for, but depends where you last find him.
In the wild.
Ah, that might be difficult. But I should... Let me think. Yes, if he's in the Feywild, I can think of a way to do this. Yes, let's do this tomorrow. Would you prefer to do it in private?
All right.
Well, it was a question to you. It doesn't have to be.
I don't see an issue with it.
Alright then, however you wish. We'll take a brief trip to the Feywild before I set you on your proper path. One of the doors I have leads there, although it's quite a far off corner of it. Once you're on the same plane of existence as you believe him to be, I should be able to scry his location.
Understood.
Now, if that's what you wanted to ask, then shall we return to our search for drinks?
Yes, I believe so.
You take some time to browse his shelves as best you can. Trying to... Where did you have the years listed again?
What
It was in the dock, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking on the World Anvil page. Current year is what, roughly?
10, 15-ish into the current era.
Okay, and the current era is what in terms of global time?
The most, I mean, globally, it would be,
A few thousand, I guess?
yeah.
Yeah. You spy some vintages then that are close to 80 years old, some even older. At least on the shelves that you can see easily.
Alright.
Some of these you recognize from years where the vintage was, where the grapes were extremely, it was a good harvest, I guess is the best way to put it. But of course there was very little to actually harvest given what happened in the Age of Emptiness. So what wines were made that ended up being good were exceedingly valuable and rare. And he seems to just have like 20 of them here, at least, from what you can see.
Quite a collector, are we?
People give me things in exchange for information, lore, that sort of thing. These are not likely to be enjoyed by those who have more money than taste. So they believe them to be valuable and trade them for me in exchange for information. I can trade them on myself if I so choose. Though in this case, may as well taste one for the first time.
I haven't had one of these in a while, so I suppose why not?
Very well then. He pulls out the bottle that you motioned to, and you see that he's also got something from an upper shelf that seems to sadly non-alcoholic in his other hand. Let's head back up then. He pulls some wine glass. As you go back for the kitchen, he pulls out some wine glasses and some spare glasses for the others as well. making his way back to the main room then. With the three of you, did you have any discussion while he was away, or?
For Ilya, the only thing that would have happened is that her stomach would have growled very loudly. So she put away the painting, and then obviously noticed that there was food on the table.
Yeah, he would have been fine if you all started eating by now. So, if you three of you want to dig in, you can.
Otto is currently tinkering with the table.
What?
Yes.
What are you trying to do with the table?
Making it non-stick.
What do you mean non-stick?
As in, the paint doesn't stick to it.
Well,
It can't be stained.
Okay. I thought you were like trying to like remove friction from the table or something.
No.
No, that would be much worse. Okay. As he walks back
I'm
in,
just making it unstainable.
as he walks back in, he notices what you're trying to do and says like, "Don't bother, I've tried."
Can I still roll for it?
Yeah, okay. As he rolls,
What would that be?
I don't know. Persuasion.
Persuasion?
I just thought the first thing that came into my head. You can try and persuade the table to be non-stick if you want.
I love that.
He's tried to do it like magically do it already. The table's pretty stubborn.
Okay.
No. You sense the table looking at you skeptically. Other than that, sort of. Well, better try than I had at least. Sort of pats the side of the table. He sets down the bottle of wine and the container of
I'm gonna take out the crowbar and use that.
juice. As you go to the crowbar, he's like, "I wouldn't do that if I were you."
Oh, I
Ilya,
am a
by that-
professional.
Ilya, by that point, will grab Otto by the collar and sit him down.
Why don't I explain this before we get onto the main topic? This table is from the Age of Advancement. Someone unfortunately cursed it with sentience, and it's rather fussy about the magic supplied to it. I'm sure it could be persuaded to be immune to paint and stains and whatnot, but I've had no luck, and it seems you haven't had any either. And well, I wouldn't recommend trying to hit it with a crowbar.
Wait a second. Give me a second. I just realized something.
Oh no,
I'm terrified.
I'm concerned.
Wait a second. Let me go to Wikidot quickly.
Oh god.
Oh no.
Yeah, so in the meantime, while they were away, I would probably have actually gotten up for the moment to look at the books. Also, did he leave the book he was reading?
No, he would
Accessible?
have put it back.
Yeah, makes sense. But she would be very wary of touching things, but she would look around at the books.
Perception check while you do that, or investigation, your choice. While this is going
Hmm.
on. Depends how close you want to look.
I guess since it's so huge, I think she would rely more on perception for this
Okay.
one.
Gotcha.
Well,
It's books.
yeah.
First I get a no, and then you get, well, it's booked.
It's books.
Okay. I found what I'm looking for.
Okay, what are you looking for? Or
I'm
what
gonna
are you looking
use-
for?
I'm gonna use my feature, the right tool for the job,
Okay.
to quickly put together a set of woodcarver tools, specifically a chisel, the
It
sharpest one I
requires
can create.
1 hour of uninterrupted work.
I'm gonna start doing it right now.
You notice you do it to the... I think you should eat first, but I wish you the best of luck.
Ilya just shakes her head. Well, once he has his mind set to something, you can't get him away from it. It is, rather, it's a feat, to say the least. Can get quite annoying, but it can also, do good, I guess.
I've encountered artificial types before. This is nothing new to me. Well, I suppose we should drink then. He pours the wine into the glass of those who are having it. So himself and Medea. Is Ilya gonna have some?
She would have some, yeah.
Yeah. I just says not going to. And Otto? I know he's busy, but
he is whatever is put in front of me will just gulp down.
Ilya will just say that he should have some wine to get him chilled out a little bit.
he pours a small glass for Otto then. Parts of the juice for Aegis sort of. That's grapefruit. It's known to seriously mess with a lot of enchantments. But perhaps in your case, mind disruption maybe. Not for long, but long enough. If there's any negative side effects, you can blame me for them.
Well, challenge accepted.
Alright.
And she says this not to him, but to the drink.
Wonderful. The meal passes in comfortable silence for the moment. Ilya's free to ask her question whenever she comes up with it. Otherwise, various dishes. He explains the meat to be something from an animal native to this island here, the large one, although they're an invasive species in many of the other islands in the archipelago, and are sort of disrupting the local wildlife quite significantly. So there's pretty much there's a culling in effect at the moment to try and reduce the population outside of that island.
I still declare war against them, Otto will say, just while still working.
It's not my water fight. The fish also seems to be something local, although he says that it's from a sustainable source and one that he keeps himself. So it's, fine, I guess, by his standards. The garden that I believe you saw where you first showed up. I have a few of those around the place. Different climates, different foods. Keeps things going, so to speak.
So that was that watering can.
Yes, if you'd approached further, it would have told you to remove yourself from my property, and if you had gone any further, you'd have been subjected to unfortunate magical effects. Quite permanently.
Well, good that I stopped then.
Yes, it tends to deter most people who... And those who aren't deterred, let's get intense green, I'll be blunt about it. What can I say? It's funny and harmless. They don't tend to like it very much.
Sounds wicked.
I've done worse things in my life. Now then.
Does Adisa recognize any of the, say, mushrooms or the salad leaves?
They seem to be.
Are these
some of them are from.
ones that
Some of them are
you've
ones
seen?
that you've seen, sort of the areas that you've been recently. Others are most definitely not from other areas. Noticing your question, he explains that basically it's a salad from all over the areas that he prepares food from. So it's very. Yeah, it's sort of the flavors that you get from this are sort of ones that you'd be able to find in sort of larger bulk elsewhere. Same with the mushrooms.
Interesting.
Would Otto be eating anything at all while he's working? Probably not, huh?
Probably not, no.
Yeah, seeing that, Ilya will just like roll her eyes and just start stuffing his mouth with the food while he works.
Make a dexterity check.
Wait, who?
Both of you. One of you, you have to try and aim for his mouth while he's working. You have to try and not let it fall out.
God.
Success.
Yay!
Saving throw or check?
Check. You, you do manage to eat some of it. However, after a certain point, you forget that you're eating, and it just sort of, it's not a pleasant sight, and the man sort of, bloody hell. I'm glad at least the floor decided to let me keep it stain-proof. It doesn't comment otherwise. The meal passes after a while, and you create the tools that you believe are necessary to make this table unstable.
Yeah.
What form do you wish them to take?
The sharpest wood chisel the land has ever seen.
You create this. You create this wood chisel, and there was. What are you going to do with that?
I then sit down on the floor next to the table so that I'm eye light with the table, board.
He reaches out his hand. What are you going to do with that?
And then I start sharp end, like, in my hand, like, threateningly. What a mess, table. We can do this the hard way, or the safe way.
Roll intimidation.
Do I have advantage?
Yeah.
Do I get proficiency since I'm using tools?
Yeah.
Okay, so add proficiency. To
Yeah,
it
so
then.
click proficiency on, roll intimidation with advantage, and turn proficiency off. The table looks at you, a little bit afraid. You don't know how a table can look at you when it doesn't have any features of anything other than a table, but it still managed to look at you rather rather concerned. It was sort of, I wouldn't try fretting the furniture if I were you, even if it works.
I don't avert my gaze from the table.
There was after a moment of this, nothing seems to be happening. What do you do?
So that's how it's gonna play in, is it, huh? One last chance. You know, saying. And he holds the chisel up to his face, kind of shaving up at like the slightest bit of stubble, just to show the sharpness of it.
Roll a dexterity saving throw. You find yourself suddenly in pain as you look down and you see your foot is currently being chewed on by the chair you were sitting on. Decidedly mimic-like in appearance.
Well, if that's how it's gonna be, I stand up.
The wizard looks at you. If you could please stop thrashing the furniture to the point where it wishes to try and eat you, I believe you have your own food to consume.
I'll do that in a bit.
I appreciate.
Postman!
What did he do?
I'm calling the postman.
Okay. What's that actually?
Equipping my armor.
It's the carriage is outside over here.
Yeah, I know.
What's the wording?
Let's see. it can be put on, it can be equipped as an action.
It has to be. I'm going to rule that it has to be within range to be equipped.
I mean, it can just drive itself there.
How?
High speed.
It is unable to give its purpose or pronouns or point to its position on a parchment.
Zoom.
Nor can the wizard open the other door for it.
Zoom.
And travelling from here to here, even as the crow flies, would probably take
Long enough.
at least 4 months. Maybe 5. Nothing happens when you say this.
Ilya at this point being a little annoyed by what he's trying to do, despite the wizard saying he should stop. She will literally just drag him out of the room by the collar.
He sort of sighs. Thank you for that. As you leave.
I'll do one last swing with my crowbar and hands with booming blade.
Do you want to get kicked out?
Do I have anything to fucking
The wizard counterspells the booming blade. And and you're out of range anyway, so you miss.
Well, that happened.
Oh, actually, that. Yeah, okay, so he already counterspelled, did you say?
Yeah, he just counterspelled the cantrip.
Oh yeah, actually, that I couldn't have used that anyway because he wasn't attacking the table. Yeah.
Yeah. I do dislike when people stress my hospitality to its limits, but oh well.
Get a better table.
I've had this table for several hundred years, thank you very much, and I do not intend to replace it.
You seriously need to stop this.
Table attack first.
He didn't! You were tinkering with it!
I didn't damage it.
But you were tinkering with it.
Only surface level.
That's beyond the point.
He turns back to Ajasai and Radir. Well, that interruption out of the way. I believe we should retire for the night. Is there anything else either of you wants to ask?
I don't believe so myself, but considering the likelihood of our friend continuing to attempt in the darkness of the night, I'm gonna jump off my chair, aka just stand up,
Yep.
which already puts me at table height.
Yep.
Excuse me, Mr. Table.
You get a sense the table is looking at you.
I want to try and discern the table's history.
How?
See what kind of, where it's been before it came here.
Alright. What roll do you need for that?
I don't know.
Alright, fine, make a hit, do you get advantage on this or from any source?
I have expertise in history.
Okay, make a history check then.
Ooh.
You don't recognize a table, but it definitely does his story from before, saying that it was from the Age of Advancement and then it was cursed with sentience, does seem to line up with the skeptical look the table is giving you. Or so it seems to be giving you.
You know, if, just hypothetically, you were made to be stain-proof, wouldn't that just mean that there is even more likelihood that you will be allowed to stay longer? Because currently, if there becomes a stain on you, that stays there, and sooner or later, you might be thrown out.
And the wizard's eye twitches. I would never throw out an old friend like this. Besides, make an insight check. No, never mind. You failed to insight check the table. Besides, never mind.
I'm gonna try to you know what? Sure. I'm gonna cast Sense Emotion.
On the table, of course.
Yeah.
The table is not humanoid. You sense that it is calm, as shown by the end of the spell.
I'm gonna use a Divine Sense.
What's that? Again, paladin stuff. The table is completely neutral. There is no celestial, fiend, or undead within range. Nor any place or object that has been consecrated or desecrated with the Hallow spell.
You also still sense both the strong evil and the good from Atisai.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
I look at the table and go, well, how about we do this gently, and I will try to persuade it to be tinkered with.
Fine. Roll persuasion. With disadvantage.
Okay.
I'll take the 24 as your second roll.
Yeah.
25, 24. That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking would happen, given I had to make you roll advantage and you rolled double low numbers last time. The table sort of grumbles somehow, not with sound. It just grumbles, and you get the sense that it seems to be fine with being stained. Like,
You're a weird one.
how
Also, I'm just gonna. This roll doesn't matter because we're not gonna retcon, but I'm just curious.
okay.
What was the DC on the Sword of Truth earlier?
Like 17 probably, maybe 18.
Because I have advantage against magical effects.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. The wizard sort of seeing. You make this persuasion check, sort of. You see, that's the problem, is that it's like the passage of time wears on one, and some people like collecting memories of things, while I try to at least keep things clean. I struggle with the thought of dirt and uncleanliness, but the table has other ideas. We've agreed to disagree by this point in our history. I doubt you'll be able to change its mind.
I'm not gonna, but out of curiosity, what is its wisdom?
I haven't got a stat block for a bloody table.
Okay.
To be fair, though, you do realize by this point that all the chairs are mimics. As a defense mechanism, should we say, for people who try to mess with the table. The table. Do you back off at this point then?
Tay, leave the table be, I swear to God.
I know you're just trying to mess with me by this point. Like, Otto doing it, I understand. Radir doing it, they're obviously just got a grudge.
He's gonna go. I suppose some people don't describe to that idea. Though in my opinion, as long as it's called the same, it is the same. Doesn't matter how many parts are in place. As long as the soul is there, it remains.
Ah, I see the legend of that ship as well. Interesting. Well, even it is an actual ship for you. Well, anyway, now that I believe you've all eaten, I think we should, once again, retire for the night.
By this time, Ilya would have already dragged Otto to his room.
Fair enough.
Ajisai, who's sort of just kind of more like amused, been looking as all this has transpired. But also, like, since the wizard seems to be very perceptive, you probably would have noticed that he was twitching at some points and almost ready to step in if they would have been even more mean to the table.
Fair enough.
And she then sort of she gets up and says, "Well, I enjoyed tasting all these more unusual vegetables that I haven't come across on my own travels. Also, well, since I have already asked my question, I suppose I can as well ask out of curiosity, and, well, of course, you were never under the obligation to answer. The book you were reading earlier, would you mind telling what that was?"
He thinks to himself for a bit. I think I do mind at the moment, I'm afraid. But once I'm
Very
done
well.
with it, maybe not so much. Depends how it ends.
Well, that's fair. Well, thank you then. This has certainly been an interesting day, and I appreciate those.
Thank you for having more sense in your comrades.
What did I do?
Not you, but like the other two of them.
Yeah, so Tay.
To be fair, you also
grins.
decided to try and paint in a library on a table.
Yes, I was bored.
Yeah, that's understandable. He understands being bored. I was just very polite and not at all whatever the entire time, is therefore the most sensible of the lot in his eyes. You didn't get negative points for trying to paint like the others got for trying to convince the table, but I got positive points for not doing anything risky or weird. Aside from being Ajisai, which is, this is a wizard who lives across multiple dimensions. He's weird is relative. Doesn't matter.
She will head up to room then.
Did it go up as well?
Renee will also go up.
Alright. You all, you'll get the benefits of a long rest, not that you've done anything. And, the next day then, he takes you back through the door to out here. Not outside though. Once you're in the room full of rooms, he turns to the party. I believe you still had a question if you wish to ask it. He turns to Ilya.
I'm good for now.
Perhaps did you wish to pass it on to somebody else? I'm not averse to it. Although he sort of looks slightly less than favourably at Otto. Perhaps you should choose one of your friends who will ask a sensible question this time.
Out of character here, would any of Radia or Ajisai have another question they would really, really like answered?
Yes.
Okay.
We already know what it is, don't we?
I don't.
I don't either.
I think I do.
I mean, you might,
Yeah.
but you know, you're the regular GM. I'm just the current GM. You might be able to
yeah.
predict these things. I can't.
Ilya would then just go, well, I personally don't have a question, but I would give my question to Ajisai. I think she might have another question.
So, there. Let me just check for a second here.
Okay.
It was. Okay, I should have it there. Oh, right. Yes. So, there's this place in Safeford I've heard about where they have taken a lot of stolen magical artifacts. I was wondering if that place has any particular weaknesses or such like.
That is a question I can't answer yet.
Well, that's fair.
He still thinks to himself for a moment. I can't say I agree with their methods, though. I'll give them that.
Well, it was worth asking.
I'm sure.
Would you say that the question is then used up, or?
Well, you have a choice. I said I can't answer it yet. So you can either ask a different question or you can wait.
Well, I suppose I will be heading in another direction for now, so I have time.
And perhaps I'll be able to answer that question later. Now then, before you go, I believe this friend of yours wanted something off me, so we're going to go to the Feywild for a moment. I believe you said the others were welcome to come with?
I see no issue with it.
Alright. This is going to be a little unpleasant for you, he noticed to Ilya. But, well, hopefully not too much. He, looks around the room and sort of sees one of the doors and... maybe it's moved. And then looks under the carpet. Ah, right. Pulls aside the, one of the carpets and there's two trapdoors underneath. one of which is marked with green paint and one of which is marked with black paint. Let's have a look, see. He pulls up the green one. Well, down we go. Sort of motions to you guys to go first.
Well, this certainly seems like an interesting escapade. And I'd just say, well, she will make for it quickly, but up to the others if she gets there first or not. But
Ilya would be a little hesitant considering her past, I guess, and that she knows that this is not gonna be very comfortable.
It's just that you're not as used to Fae as you are to
Yeah,
Shadows, so it's
yeah,
just
so
it's
she
it'll
is
just
gonna
be like a
uncomfortable with it.
it'll be like at most you'll probably feel queasy a little bit, but it wouldn't be
Yeah,
too
that
bad.
is something she wouldn't like. So.
Yeah, it's fair.
But she then will hesitantly just go in, I guess.
Yeah. And the other two of you as well?
I mean, Redeer would have gone first hand.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
that was why I said I probably, well, up to the others who get there first. So I'd say it's probably second then.
Okay. So also last, I guess, before.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you pass through into the Feywild, and it doesn't seem any different. It's just the interior of a building right now. I wouldn't recommend going outside. This is not the most hospitable place to some of us. Ilya, you're feeling definitely feeling a bit off. It's like the world has sort of shifted just a little, and not in a direction that you're used to. I just say, you've been feeling a little off since you woke up, as well, and arriving in the Feywild, you sense something seeming to not quite destabilize, but certainly you feel a little off as well. Redeer, then he turns to you and, well, do you have any likeness or possession or?
I describe Dave's physiology.
Right. That should help. Let's have a look at this then. So, since I haven't met this person, let's see. I don't have a character sheet for Dave, but what I can do.
Well, not for Dave.
Yes, but Scry needs the target to roll a.
Oh, the target.
The
Okay,
target
that's what you
rolls
said.
a wisdom saving throw, and they can only be observed if they
Ah.
fail.
Ah.
So it would be that
What was
plus
the-
that plus that. He sits down to scry, and after about a minute or two, I'm afraid not. He's definitely there, but either he doesn't want to be observed, or perhaps that's something we have to try again tomorrow. I'm sorry. But he is here. I can give you that much.
Say.
Where and how, or even when, I don't know.
Is there more than I expected?
Well, let's get back to the material plane. The longer we're here, the more time is going to shift. He pulls open a hatch in the floor and holds it open for you all again.
Ilya would like rush out because she just does not like this feeling.
Yeah, that's fair. You arrive back in the demi plane that the Nexus is in, with sort of, it's not quite, your stomach isn't quite settled, but it's certainly not getting any worse. And the rest of you?
Otto will go after Ilya.
Okay. Radir last, I guess?
Probably.
Okay, so I just say next then. And then back there, sort of, well, I guess I better send you back to where you came from. Actually, no, wait, you wanted to go further west, didn't you?
Indeed. We were looking for those shady people.
Of course. Well, I can't give you much in the way of descriptions, I'm afraid, but I don't think they'll be too hard to find. Half Flame is not exactly the hardest resource to track. Especially since you know the time frame in which the shipments arrived. He opens the door that next to the one that you arrived from that will lead westwards. Well, on you go, I suppose.
Well, I hope we'll see again.
Yes. He looks to Otto. You going as well?
Where are we coming out?
You will be exiting here currently.
Okay.
If you get through this door. Bear in mind what we discussed yesterday.
Yeah. Hmm. I look to the others and go. Well, since they are traveling half-flame, we could notify the authorities back in the city we left. Could be good to have some backing in case something goes south. What do you think?
Who are you asking?
The group.
Oh, just the group, okay.
Say,
Well, I'm not one to try to convince anyone to do something beyond their will.
The wizard gives you a look that probably figure out he's trying to hold back some sort of laugh.
Rhaenyra is lost in thought.
Okay.
Well, Ilya would just be like, well, it is up to you. It's your choice, not ours. Cat, you're warm. Could you get off my lap?
The first cat interruption of the campaign, and it's 2 and 3/4 hours in.
Yeah, I don't know where he was. He was just gone. And now he's laying on my lap, but it's very, very warm, and I'm already sweating, so could you please get off?
Ah, I see.
He doesn't want to.
Oh no.
Well, can't say I'm knowledgeable in these parts anyway. And we can still communicate, so we can cross-reference, and I can probably pull some strings and get access to Outflank shipments in and out of Frosteg.
Seems you got it all figured out then.
You okay with that? And he looks at Ilya.
I have no idea what you just said. What the fuck is this accent?
Bad.
It's killing me. Yes! I did not understand a single word from that sentence right now.
He's going to communicate with the authorities over in Rostag to look at the shipping logs and stuff, just to make sure that everything is okay.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah, that's fine.
Right. And he will then make his way towards the door back inside the door room.
Mm-hmm.
And turn around quickly and kind of walk up to Ilya and give her a hug.
She will hug back and just say, stay safe.
I believe I'm the one that should be saying that to you.
Varalas. Loki, can you get off? I'm going to eat you. Now he wants snuggles and... No.
See you around.
See ya.
And he walks back into where the old man is.
Fair enough. The three of you go through to the other place then?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Before Ilya walks through, she would look like over her shoulder back to Otto again, give him a slight smile, and then walk through.
All right.
Okay. And then Otto goes to the other door then, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah. Before he leaves, the wizard sort of... Well, I don't understand what you were trying to do. I'd appreciate it if you didn't employ such methods in my presence again.
Otto is clueless.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, take care then. I'm not gonna make you roll insight to see if he's being sincere or not, because you're clueless about it, but he's not being very sincere about it. So you head through onto your side then, and end up back with your carriage, and over the next
Yep.
several days you'll be making your way back to Rostag.
Yep.
And the party winds up standing outside a small building just inland from this town. And that's where we'll end this session for the day.